UFC flyweight Ode, the Jamaican sensation here, and we're gonna go do some breakdowns on UFC 328 Strickland versus Chimaev. Let's start. First of all, some of these fighters I'm not gonna make picks on, mainly because I know them, and it's such an awkward situation sitting at, I don't know, whether it be lunch table, whether it be at the UFC Performance Institute, or whether you just run into them out in public and you know them and you picked against them and then they're holding against you. So I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to pick fighters that I don't have any relationships with. Pat Sabatini versus William Gomez. I'm going to go with Gomez on this one. No particular reason. I just feel like he is a little bit more the athletic fighter. I think this is a even matchup. I think Pat Sabatini could get the W. You know, I am not counting out Pat Sabatini at all. But I'm going to go with William Gomez. He's looked great in the distance. I've seen him fight a couple times. So yeah, I'm going to go with William Gomez on this one. Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tully. I'm going to go with Roman Kopylov. He's on a 2-fight skid, and I know what that's like. When you're on a 2-fight losing streak, you give your all to that fight camp. You give your all to the fight. You give your all to training, you know, because you want to get that dub back. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Kopylov. Not to mention, he's a phenomenal striker. Phenomenal striker. So I'm going to go with Kopylov on this one. Next up, we got Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon is one of those fighters. There's a few fighters in the UFC that they just get better the older they get. I'll put Michael Johnson on that list. I'll put Bobby Green on that list. I'll also put Jared Gordon on that list. So I'm going to go with Jared Gordon. Also, you know, him and I have trained together back in the day. So this is a little bit of a biased pick, but I'm going with Jared. I also think he beat Paddy Pimblett, but that's besides the point. All right, so next fight. I'm gonna go with Bobby Green versus Jeremy Stephens. Just like I said, Bobby Green is one of those guys that the older he gets, the better he gets, and you can't count him out. So I'm going to go with Bobby Green on this fight. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Man, I didn't want to pick. See, again, this is one of those ones where I'm friends. You know, I'm not as close with Sean Brady, but I know Sean Brady. I would say me and Joaquin are, you know, we're deep. We're cool. Me and him are cool people. So I gotta go with Joaquin because that's my guy right there, you know. And I feel like Sean Brady is a tough SOB. So this is not going to be a walk in the park for Joaquin. This fight could actually go either way. Sean Brady could very well get the W. He could very well get the W. 100%. I'm not counting him out. But you know, being that I'm closer friends with Joaquin Buckley, I can't go against my guy. So I gotta go with Joaquin Buckley on this one. Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez. Yo, everybody been talking about Waldo Cortez. I think he's going to get this W. I don't know that Alexander Volkov. I don't know. In his last couple fights, he hasn't shown a lot for me to say that he's going to beat Waldo Cortez, you know? And it's just one of those things where I just can't. I don't know. I don't see it happening. I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna stick with what I said. I think Waldo Cortez is going to be the one that gets the W because, again, he's a newer up-and-coming fighter. He's got more of a grit to him, and yeah, I think he got more of a well-roundedness to him than Alexander Volkov. So I'm going with Waldo Cortez on this one. Let's go, man. And let's go. We're talking about my weight class right now. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. Oh man, this is a banger we have all been waiting for. I know I've been waiting for this because this is my weight class. And this is one of those fights that is so tricky because Joshua Van beat Brendan Royval. Tatsuro Taira lost to Brendan Royval. And here, there's a famous saying in the MMA community, and it's this: styles make fights. That is so true because in that fight, I feel like Tatsuro knew that Royval has a dynamic grappling set and was a little bit hesitant to push the grappling, the wrestling. Now, I feel like Tatsuro in this fight is going to push the grappling and the wrestling against Josh Van. If Josh Van is able to weather Tatsuro's wrestling and grappling, he can and will come out on top. Now, the question is Van going to be able to weather Tatsuro's onslaught of wrestling grappling? We don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one up to the toss-up. I might do, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a marble breakdown on this one. If y'all don't know what a marble video is, look at my Instagram. I do marble videos, meaning like I put two marbles are racing each other, and it's just whatever random marble wins, that's the fighter I'm gonna choose. So I'm gonna do a marble breakdown and make it up to the marble gods. All right, Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev. Man, this has been a talked about matchup for a while now. And honestly, this either is going to be a long, drawn out fight or Khamzat subs Sean, which I don't see happening. Honestly, I don't think Khamzat will submit Sean because Sean is very, very good on the ground. Defensively, I mean, he's not going to take you down, but he will get back up and he will defend submissions. I see this fight going Khamzat taking him down every single round and making it kind of a drawn out fight and beating him every round by takedown. It's kind of, I don't see it any different than the DDP fights. I think it's going to be very similar to DDP. Now, if Sean is able to get up over and over and over again, then, third, fourth, and fifth round, he could do some damage. But I think Khamzat he's so good at what he does. He gets on top of you, and he's not letting you up. And I think that's what he's going to do. So I'm going with Khamzat, unanimous decision.